We've all heard the advice: be yourself, be nice, or good things come to those who are patient. But what if your kindness is actually turning people away? In fact, there are subtle behaviors many men don't realize could be making women lose interest. These aren't big, obvious mistakes like being rude or disrespectful. No, these are the small, often unnoticed things that slowly build a wall between you and the woman you like. Today, we're diving into the 7 most common behaviors that might be quietly pushing women away, even when you think you're doing everything right. And more importantly, we'll explore how you can avoid these behaviors and build stronger, more authentic connections without changing who you are. It's time to get real about these subtle actions and understand why they have the power to destroy the potential of a relationship before it even gets off the ground. Stick with me till the end because I'll also share tips on how to turn things around, without becoming someone you're not. You might think you're doing everything right, but these subtle behaviors could be making all the difference. Ready to learn which ones? Let's dive in. These aren't just the usual dating tips you've heard before. We're uncovering the deep, psychological reasons behind why these behaviors have such a huge impact and giving you the tools to avoid them, so you can really stand out in a way that matters. But before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on life-changing tips like these. Now, let's get into it, because these are the little things that could be sabotaging your dating life without you even knowing it. 1. Acting entitled. One of the most subtle and damaging behaviors in any romantic relationship is acting entitled. It can be something as simple as thinking, I'm being nice, so why aren't women interested in me? Or, you might find yourself thinking, I've done everything right. I deserve someone great in return. The problem with this mindset is that it assumes kindness or politeness should be rewarded. While it's true that being nice is important, the expectation of something in return is a huge turnoff. When you act entitled to someone's attention, affection, or time simply because you've been nice, you're putting pressure on the other person. And that's the last thing you want to do in a relationship. How to avoid this? Kindness is important, but it should come from a genuine place, not as a form of currency that buys affection. Women are more likely to be attracted to a man who is confident, self-assured, and doesn't feel the need to earn affection or validation. So how can you avoid this? Stop thinking about what you deserve. Instead, focus on building genuine connections. Don't give out compliments or do nice things just to expect something back. Let your actions speak for themselves, and trust that when the time is right, things will unfold naturally. 2. Always agreeing with everything. Do you find yourself nodding along to everything she says, even when you don't agree? This is a huge red flag. While it's natural to want to keep the peace and avoid conflict, constantly agreeing with someone shows a lack of personal conviction. It suggests that you don't have your own opinions or, even worse, that you're trying to please her at the expense of your own personality. Why this turns women off? Think about it. When a man agrees with everything a woman says, it makes him seem indecisive, weak, or lacking in confidence. It's also incredibly boring. Relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, and disagreement is a healthy part of that. How to avoid this? Instead of agreeing with everything, try expressing your opinions, politely, of course. If she suggests a movie you're not interested in, say, I actually haven't heard of that one. I'm more into action films, but we could give it a try. This shows that you have your own personality and aren't afraid to express it. 3. Overloading with compliments. Compliments are great, but overloading her with compliments can backfire. Telling her she's beautiful every time you see her or constantly praising her looks can quickly become tiresome and feel disingenuous. Over time, it may even make her question whether you like her for who she is as a person or just for her appearance. Why this turns women off? Complimenting her excessively may also come across as trying too hard, which isn't attractive. Women want to feel appreciated for more than just their looks. When you constantly comment on her physical appearance, it can feel superficial. How to avoid this? So, how do you handle compliments? Be thoughtful and specific. Instead of repeating, "You're beautiful." Try complimenting something more unique about her, like her sense of humor, her passion for a hobby, or the way she tackles challenges in life. Compliment her for the qualities that make her who she is, not just for what she looks like. 4. Over-apologizing. Over-apologizing is another subtle behavior that can make you seem insecure and weak. It's easy to fall into the habit of apologizing for every little thing, especially if you're worried about upsetting someone. But constantly saying, "sorry," makes it seem like you're unsure of yourself and not confident in your actions. Why this turns women off? For example, if you accidentally bump into someone, saying, "Sorry, my bad," is fine. But if you find yourself apologizing for having an opinion, for speaking your mind, or for doing something normal, it can quickly erode your confidence in the eyes of others. How to avoid this? Instead of apologizing for everything, focus on being assertive and taking responsibility for your actions when necessary. If you mess up, own it, without over-apologizing. Women find confidence and accountability much more attractive than constant self-doubt. 5. Putting yourself beneath her. This one is huge. Constantly putting yourself beneath her can be a huge turnoff. Phrases like, "I'm not good enough for you," or "you're out of my league," create an unhealthy dynamic in a relationship. Women want a partner, not someone who views them as a superior. Why this turns women off? When you belittle yourself or make excuses about why you're not good enough, it's not just unattractive, it's also unfair to both of you. It makes the woman feel like she has to constantly reassure you, and it sets up an uneven relationship dynamic where one person is always lifting the other up. How to avoid this? Instead of seeing yourself as beneath her, focus on mutual respect. Acknowledge the things you admire about her, but don't put her on a pedestal. Relationships should be equal partnerships, not ones where one person is constantly propping the other up. 6. Over-texting or over-investing too soon. In today's digital age, texting has become a major part of dating. But over-texting or over-investing in someone too early can make you appear desperate or clingy. Women appreciate a little space, and if you're texting her all the time or investing too much energy too quickly, it can overwhelm her. Why this turns women off? You might think that texting her multiple times a day shows you care, but it can also make you seem overly eager and needy. Instead of flooding her inbox with messages, focus on having quality conversations and letting things unfold naturally. Give her time to miss you. Let her initiate texts once in a while, and don't feel like you need to be in constant communication. How to avoid this? It's also important to have your own life outside of the relationship. If you're constantly focusing on her, it may seem like you're too available, which isn't attractive. Keep your own interests and hobbies, and don't forget to invest in your own growth while also showing interest in her. 7. Claiming, "I'm not like other guys." Claiming that you're not like other guys is a big red flag. Women have heard this line many times, and it often comes across as defensive and dismissive of other men. It can also seem like you're trying to put her exes or other people down in an attempt to make yourself seem like the better choice. Why this turns women off? Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on what makes you unique in a positive way. Emphasize your own qualities, such as your values, interests, and experiences. Let your actions show that you're different, rather than relying on a canned line that almost always feels disingenuous. Now that we've broken down these 7 subtle behaviors that might be turning women off, let's talk about how to avoid them. The key takeaway is to focus on building authenticity and confidence. Stop expecting something in return for being nice, and instead, aim to build genuine, reciprocal connections. Don't agree with everything she says just to avoid conflict, and don't overwhelm her with compliments or constant texts. Be assertive, but not overbearing. Own your opinions and make decisions confidently. Don't put yourself beneath her. Relationships are about equality and respect. And lastly, avoid the trap of comparing yourself to others. Instead, let your actions speak for who you are. By focusing on these simple adjustments, you can create healthier, more fulfilling connections with women and build relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more relationship advice. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever fallen into any of these traps? Or maybe you've noticed these behaviors in others? Drop a comment below and let's discuss.